Hey YouTubers, thought it was about time that we should take a tour of all the tanks, see what's going on and what's coming up. Okay, so we're going to start over here with the old, what used to be called the native tank. This originally had the fish that I'd caught out of stream locally in it. I think it was a dace. It's one of those feeder fish. I caught out of a small stream, and it eventually got to be the dump all tank where I just took trimmings and plants and threw them to, and as you can see, it's got a bunch of sword plants, and I think there's an Anubias in there, and some Java moss and some Blixa, as you can see right there. And now it has somewhat become partially a shrimp tank, even though you can't really see any shrimp unless you look real closely. There's quite a few of them in there. I don't know if you can see any of them right now, but there are quite a few shrimp in there, and babies. I think there's some down and through there. But yeah, I need to sit back and kind of figure out what I'm going to do with this tank. I haven't really decided. It's kind of sitting on the side right now, but that's pretty much what it's doing. Probably could redistribute some of these swords. They're looking pretty good, but that's what that one's doing. Then we'll come over here to one of the newer ones, and this has the first and second batch of German blue rams in it. As you can see, they're growing out quite nicely, especially this guy right here. Look at him, isn't he a stunner? And this is part of the second batch right here, these two guys, and this guy's kind of the run of the batch. Not sure what he's, but they're all coming along quite nicely. Not sure if I'm going to sell them or cull them or whatever. Over here we have the Apistos, the orange flash and triple reds, and actually they are getting more red in them as they get a little older. You can see on this guy right here swimming down right by the black thing, he's got still a lot of orange, but there is some red, and he would be definitely on the triple red side, as you can see if he turns sideways, which he won't do. But it's a combination of the two of them. Sorry about that, guys. The breeder told me that I had the two different kinds, and somehow or another they got mixed. So they're kind of more like triple oranges and orange flashes. But hey, it's an interesting. They're still stunners. And these guys are for sale. They're up on Aquabid under Indie Bird is the name you want to look for. They are for sale. So go check that out. Or if you want to just contact me directly, just Paul's Planet Aquariums at Gmail. Or leave a message, whichever. So that's what's going on with them. This tank down here, there was supposed to be a couple of triple reds, and there's one hiding, you know, right there by the sponge filter. And I don't know where the female is. I haven't seen her in a while. I'm not sure if she's still with us or not. So I need to do something with this tank soon. It needs all of these tanks needs a water change, which is coming tonight. Here is the breeding pair of GBRs. Oh, look at that! And the babies did make it. Now, what I did on this last batch, they're between the two totes there. On this last batch, I took about 2/3 of the babies out, which you will see shortly. and I left about a third of them in with mama. And I thought they had died. I hadn't seen them in a long time. See them swimming up on top there. But they have made it. I've been feeding them, just hoping that they were still in there. And they have made it. Mama's brought these up. So, I'll be damned. They did make it. So that's really interesting. So I'm going to have a lot of German blue rams, even though they're slow growers. These guys were 6, 13, 17. So that's June 13th. And it's the end of July now. So that's they're about a month and a quarter old now. And you see that they are still relatively small. Now they're old enough to sell, but it takes a while for these guys to grow out. Okay, so that takes care of that tank, those tanks. And we will move on. Okay, so here are the 2/3 that I took out of that other tank that I left with mama. And they're coming along. I'd say they're both at about the same size. So I hadn't, but it's still nice to know that mama's able to raise them now. So I might just next batch out. I think I'm just going to let her raise them up and not take any out. That way I've got a lot less to fuss with. But this little 2.5 gallon I have in the bathroom. And I know I got some comments on it last time. Why the hell do you have a tank in your bathroom? Because it's really easy to do the water changes. When they're that small, you have to water change out into a clear container. Make sure you didn't suck any of them up. Then pour that water out, and then do the same thing over and over again. So you don't make sure you don't lose any of the babies down the drain. And it's a long, arduous task, especially when you first transfer them over, when you got to do it 2 and 3 times a day. So it's really easy to have the sinks right there. That is my little vinegar eel dispenser. There's the culture right there in the bottle. And I'm using the method, in case you missed it in a former video. The bottom part right down and through here is all the vinegar with the vinegar eels in them. And you put a little piece of filter floss in there. And then you put clear water or clean water on top there, and the vinegar eels will migrate through the filter floss up into the clean water to get oxygen. And then you just take and go in with a little syringe and suck them out and feed them to your babies, because you don't want to just give them the vinegar eels in the vinegar, because your pH would like bottom out and would probably kill them all. So that's the method I'm using. And so now we shall move along. And here, this is the 20 high that I usually grow out my angels in. And there's still some gimpy angels in there. As you can see, this guy down in the flower pot, not quite right. I just can't bring myself to euphemizing them. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with them when I need this tank, which will happen sometime soon. You see I have one of the breeder bottles in here. My angels did lay some more eggs, but unfortunately none of them were viable. They all turned white and fungused over eventually. So I don't know if the male's not fertilizing them, he's incapable of fertilizing them anymore, or he's not interested in fertilizing. I'm not sure what's going on there, but unfortunately it doesn't look like I'm going to get much more from that pair. So I do have 3 more of them that are hiding down. I don't know if you can see. Right down in there. 3 more of the kois, and I'm hoping that I got at least a female in there and a male that might pair up. And we're going to see what happens with them. This is the 5 gallon, currently unoccupied. But with all the baby GBRs, I'm sure this will soon to be. And right next door is the toddler tank. which you can see a couple of them hanging out right there. Most of them are in the back. I don't know. I just fed them a while ago, so you can see a few of them in there. There's probably about 30 or 40 of them in there. They're just hiding back behind the Java moss in there. But yeah, these guys, let's see, they were born 6/24/17, so they're a little over a month now. So they got about another at least half a month to a month before they're going to be ready for sale. So let's see, we're at the end of July. Yeah, come September, you're going to be seeing a lot of German blue rams up for sale on Aquabid and through me and all that. So yeah, be looking for that. Parents are beautiful, so I'm sure that we're going to get a lot of beautiful fish out of this. So be looking for that around end of October into September. Definitely on Aquabid, and like I say, if you want to get your yeah, you can see a bunch more coming out. They're getting curious now. You want to get your orders in early or whatever, hit me up at paulsplanetaquariums@gmail.com, or leave a message or whatever, and I'll get back to you and we'll see what we can work out. But you can see this has become like kind of the breeding rack in the other room here. This is the wine cooler over here. This is where I keep the white worms and the baby brine shrimp eggs and my rapashi foods that are unmade. And then I got my grindle worms cultures down here that I'm working on. I'm refreshing. Here is the brine shrimp tank, as in full grown. There's a few of them still swimming around in there. I gotta feed them. Actually, there's quite a few of them in there, but there's the brine shrimp hatchery, which I need to get rolling because I haven't fed any brine shrimp in the last couple of days. And that about completes this room. Oh, of course, it's also the shipping room. Here's all my boxes and supplies and all that good stuff. Okay, so next we're going to go downstairs and take a look at the tanks down in my office that don't get much loving. See you in a second. Okay, this is the former shrimp tank, and it will be a shrimp tank again coming up. As you can see, it's completely overgrown. It's got the water sprite growing all over the top, and there's a Amazon sword in there, and there's some sort of Nubius growing on the log, and there's some wasser tang and Java moss and blah blah blah. Right now it's just occupied by a bunch of snails, and I'm kind of letting them, I'm not feeding or doing anything with it, so I'm kind of letting them die off by virtue of no extra food, or at least die back to a point where they're manageable, and keeping the tank running so it's more or less cycled. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be redoing this and doing an aquascape on it, and setting it up for some more shrimp coming in. I think I'm gonna check with either Lup Diesel or maybe Miss Jinx, and see what I can get shrimp wise, but that'll be probably this fall. Summertime, been busy. Yes, the economy has come back around, and just hadn't had time to really do anything with it, so it sits as is. And over here on my desk is my little 4-gallon Aquarium that I won as a raffle prize one time. It's got one Endler, the other one unfortunately passed away, and one little male cherry shrimp right there sitting on the rock basking. And yeah, this is gonna, I'm looking for some more Endlers. I want to get a couple of, maybe about 4 Endlers in there, or some white clouds or something like that. I gotta keep the small, keep them small. It's only 4 gallons. But yeah, that's going to also be rescaped coming this fall. I'm going to get rid of that rock and get some driftwood in there, and maybe some Java moss, and maybe some smaller plants, some Nubius petites or something like that. But yeah, that's coming too. And this is where all the magic happens on the videos, and also my work. And now we will head, last but not least, up to the show tanks. So for me it'll be a couple minutes, for you it'll be a flash. See you there. Okay, so we'll start off with a view of the 40 breeder overall. Definitely overgrown and in bad need of a trimming. But pan on down here to the 20 long breeder. And it truly is a breeder, because this is where all my apistos come from. And yeah, amazing little tank. I don't know what it is about this tank. It's been up on top and down below and in different places, but every time I put fish in here, I always seem to get breeding action going on. So, great little breeder. Zoom in a little quick, you can see we got an overgrowth of Java fern, which I need to pull that log out and pull a bunch of that off and sell it or something. But there is one of the Mrs. Little Castles right there, that flower pot with a hole in it. She defends that quite quite efficiently. Keeps she's either sitting on eggs or got babies right out in front, and she does a great job as a mama. And here we go, panning across, and if you look behind the end of the right side end of that that little piece of PVC, you can just barely kind of make out the other pot in there, and that's where the other female lives. And they are faced a little bit away from each other, so the two females can't see each other if they're hovering in the doorway. But yeah, the old fish just goes back and forth between the two girls. Here we are up in the 40 breeder, back up in the 40 breeder above. Two angels there are the mom and dad of all the koi babies that I had out. They have spawned once recently, but this recent spawn and the spawn before it did not turn out viable eggs. All the eggs turned white and just eventually fungused over. I don't know if the male is not fertilizing them, or if he doesn't want to fertilize them, or if he can't fertilize them, or what the deal is, but the eggs have they've been non grato, or just didn't work out. Nothing came out of them. So unfortunately that may be the end of the old couple for the spawning, but I don't know, we'll see what happens in the future. Not throwing in the flag yet. These silverfish with the black and white tail fins, I think they were Rasporas of some sort, but I don't know, I can't quite remember what I got. Anyway, yeah, this is the 40. All is doing well in there, other than the fact that it needs a definite trimming. And with that, you get your overall view of the 40, and I am going to leave you with some music I found on the internet, and I think you guys will recognize it when you see it. But these are the apistogrammas that I got up for sale. You can find them on Aquabid. Go into the apistogramma section under South American cichlids and look for Indie Bird. And those are the guys you're looking at right here. And so with that, I'm going to wish you all a great weekend and let you chill out with a little bit of good music in a different format and look at some pretty fish. See you soon.